Imagine creating voices so iconic that millions of people instantly recognize them, yet most never knew your face. That was Tom Kane, the man who gave wisdom to Yoda, the man who became Professor Utonium, and the voice that shaped the childhood of an entire generation, has died at 64 years old. But behind the legendary career was a heartbreaking final chapter, a massive family, and a story most fans never knew. Today, we're remembering the life, legacy, and impact of one of the greatest voice actors in animation history. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're talking about the passing of Tom Kane, the legendary voice actor known for his unforgettable work in Star Wars, the Powerpuff Girls, Call of Duty, Kim Possible, and dozens of other iconic franchises. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share for more updates. Thanks. According to multiple verified reports, Kane died after complications related to the devastating stroke he suffered back in 2020. He reportedly passed away surrounded by family in Kansas City. And honestly, this loss hits differently for animation fans, because even if you didn't know his name, you definitely knew his voice. Tom Kane was born Thomas Kane Roberts on April 15, 1962, in Overland Park, Kansas. What's interesting is that he reportedly started voice work incredibly young, around age 15, long before voice acting became the respected celebrity industry it is today. Unlike modern influencers who explode overnight on social media, Kane built his career the hard way. Years of radio work, commercials, background voices, and endless studio sessions. And eventually, Hollywood realized this guy had one of the most versatile voices in the business. If there's one role that defined Tom Kane's legacy, it's probably Yoda in Star Wars. For an entire generation of fans, he was the voice of Yoda in the Clone Wars universe. Yoda, and stepping into a role originally made legendary by Frank Oz is not easy. That's pressure on a completely different level. But Tom Kane didn't imitate Yoda. He honored the character while still making the role feel alive for a new generation. And then there's the Powerpuff Girls. He voiced both Professor Utonium and him, two completely opposite personalities in the same show. That range is honestly insane. 1 minute, he's the loving scientist father figure. The next minute, he's one of the creepiest villains in Cartoon Network history. That's elite-level voice acting. He also worked on Kim Possible Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends Call of Duty, Black Ops II Archer the Wild Thornberrys, and even narrated Academy Awards broadcasts. That tells you how respected his voice truly was. One of the most emotional parts of this story is hearing how people describe Tom Kane as a father and husband. Reports say he had been married to his wife Cindy since 1982. Together, they built a huge family with 9 children. And what really stands out is that 6 of those children came through adoption and fostering. That says a lot about his character beyond Hollywood. In an industry obsessed with fame, Tom Kane seemed focused on family, and honestly, that may be his greatest legacy of all. Back in 2020, Kane suffered a serious stroke that reportedly left him with apraxia, a neurological condition that affected his ability to speak. Think about how tragic that is. A man whose entire life was built around his voice, suddenly struggling to communicate. He officially retired from voice acting in 2021. Fans knew his health battle was serious, but many still hoped he would somehow recover enough to return to conventions or even voice work. Sadly, that comeback never came. Here's what really stands out to me. Voice actors rarely get the same level of recognition as on-screen actors, even though they shape childhoods just as powerfully. Tom Kane's voice became part of people's memories. That's immortality in entertainment. Kids who grew up watching Cartoon Network, Star Wars fans who loved Clone Wars, gamers who played Call of Duty Zombies, all carried a piece of his work with them without even realizing it. And maybe that's why this death feels so emotional online today, because people suddenly realized, wait, that was the same guy. That's how legendary his range was. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share for more updates. Thanks. Tom Kane may be gone, but his voice is permanently woven into animation history. From Yoda's wisdom, to Professor Utonium's warmth, to the unforgettable villains and heroes he created, his work will outlive generations. Rest in peace, Tom Kane. And thank you for the voices that shaped so many childhoods.